What happened was a machine came down, clamped both of my hands down, and had removed 6 digits. So I was in a bad situation. I didn't know what else to do, and I know I needed some type of help, so I called a G law firm. They gave me confidence throughout the whole case that everything was going to be fine. They're not only lawyers, but they are family. Call the G law firm. I did.
The first thing that you need to do is to make sure you get yourself to as safe place as you can. Find yourself a competent attorney who practices in personal injury and will understand some of the things that you're going through. And as I tell people, for 33 years I've been doing this. I've had my own accident. So I would like to be one of those individuals that they would interview so I can at least try to find out how I can best help them myself.
And good evening, everybody. This is boy Cruz. That's PH Cruz Sherman. And I am thrilled to be here with you this evening. I wanted to give you some information about why I am planning to seek the school board seat for the 8th District. Many of you just know me through Cruz 8 Media, Cruz 8 Radio, and many other things that I've been involved in the community, chaplain for the Richmond Police Department. So just for a few moments tonight, I wanted to engage you in talking about my platform. You have to excuse my background there. It's a little bit, just a little bit grainy. Because the sun is shining through the green screen. But hopefully you will have some questions at the end of this presentation. I want to enlighten you on what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, and some key factors in determining what I stand for and what my platform will be. And there are 3 distinct categories or 3 points, call out points that I will make tonight. And also I will delve into some of those points. Again, I hope that you will let others know that I am on, especially if you're in the Richmond area, specifically in the 8th District. This race, as you know, again, is for the school board. The current school board member, Ms. Dawn Page, will not be seeking reelection for her seat. Therefore, I am stepping up to the plate and getting involved. Many times they say you can't change anything if you're on the outside, so you have to be on the inside in order to impact the game. And that's what I'm doing with your help and the help of God. I plan to run the best race that I can, be as transparent as I can, and once the results are in, and if I win, then I'm going to be the best school board member that I can be for our students, for our teachers, and for our staff. As you can see, scrolling at the bottom, is that I am looking to put teachers, students, and teachers over politics. And what does that mean? What does that entail? That means simply that I will not play politics with the future of the students and the careers of the teachers and staff. That I am going to look at each and every policy and procedure that comes before the board and make the right decision based on what is feasible, what is best, what is in the best interest of our students, what's in the best interest of our teachers, what's in the best interest of our staff, and what's in the best interest of the school system as a whole, and particularly focusing on the 8th district. Uh, Currently, there are almost 22,000 students within the Richmond public school system. And so a school board member not only has to think about their particular district, but they also have to keep in mind the other 9 districts as well. And of course, there are 9 other school board members, and everybody has to find a way to work together cohesively, again, for the betterment of Richmond City Schools. And I say this right off the top. The reason that this is vitally important is because when people are looking, especially corporations, when they're looking to uh, locate or relocate into a certain city, geographical area, some of the things that they look at are, what is the economy like? What is the crime like? And the school system, because they have employees and upper management people that they will be bringing in. And so everybody wants to have their children inside um, a quality school system. And that's what we want to create here in Richmond is quality education for all of our kids, not just those that may live on the east end or the west end or north side, but south side as well, where there is equality across the board for all of our students. And of course, like any other urban school system, we're currently experiencing some challenges. I won't call them necessarily problems or issues, but they're challenges. And so the school board members, along with the superintendent and his staff, we have to be ready to step up to the plate to address these challenges and address them in a manner that, again, is going to be feasible for all parties involved, especially our students and our teachers and our parents as well, because we got to have our parents engaged if we're going to make any significant strides toward becoming an excellent school system. Then we have to have the buy-in of everybody, and again, that includes our parents as well, because you all are the the people that they spend the most time with and that influence them the most. So we're hoping that across the board that we can have a collaborative effort for everyone to come to the table and see how we can make sure that the challenges that we're facing, that we can have some resolve for them and resolve them in such a manner that, again, it's going to benefit the students, it's going to benefit the teachers, it's going to benefit the staff. So, one of the challenges that I find at this stage is that um, my platform is working diligently to ensure 100% school accreditation. Accreditation, of course, is vitally important. There are standards by which each school is measured, and some of our schools are not quite meeting all of those requirements and standards. So, therefore, based on my research, there are several schools that are either not accredited or they're accredited with conditions. And what does that mean? Um, there has to be a certain level that each school, each grade, based on certain subjects, that they have to be performing well in. And if they're not performing well, or if there's um, some issues where they're not performing at all, then you'll find that the schools, through the Virginia Department of Education, will not be accredited. What that looks like, we're going to get more in depth in that as we continue to lay out the plans. But let me just kind of give you some numbers here. We have roughly 54 schools in the city of Richmond. When you look at uh, about seven of those schools are specialty schools. So you take those out of that 54, now you're down to 48. Well, five of the 48 schools are preschools. So when it comes to the accreditation, the preschools are not counted within the accreditation process. So that leaves us, roughly 43 schools within the district here, um, that have to be accredited. Well, again, based on my research, only 20 of these 48 schools are accredited. Yeah, only 20 of the 48. So we have roughly about 28 more schools that are underperforming, and that is unacceptable when it comes to our students. We want our students to perform at the highest possible level. And so, therefore, if our students are performing, then our accreditation will not be an issue. What happens when schools are not accredited? Of course, they lose certain funding. Um, so therefore, we have to make sure that we're one, educating our kids. That's extremely important, and to make sure that our schools are 100% accredited. That is one of the top tier call outs for my campaign. The second is safe schools. And when I'm talking about safe schools, I'm talking about safe schools for the teachers, for the students, and for the staff. We've had a number of unfortunate incidents where we found students with guns on in school bags, guns being brought to parking areas. So that's a major concern. And also, we know what happened June 23 uh, last year at a graduation. So we have to look at those policies and procedures to make sure that our schools are 100% safe. And not only just from incident that involves guns, but the violence within the schools, within the the halls that we don't always hear about in the main media, the fights, the bullying, the all the other intimidation practices that go on within some of the schools. Not all of them, not all the time, but we want to make sure that again we're addressing those issues. Our school safety officers have been doing a tremendous job. The SROs have been doing a tremendous job, and we want to make sure that we're giving them the necessary equipment and tools to continue to keep everyone safe within Richmond Public Schools. And not only are we talking about violence, but we also have to look at some of our schools have mold and mildew issues that we have to address because of um, these issues are causing students to be sick, causing staff to be sick, and teachers to be sick. Then that's creating another problem. That's creating chronic absenteeism, which again affects the accreditation of schools and um, just it's a trickle down effect. So we need to make sure that what we're doing to repair our schools, that they're efficient in that repair, and not only just repairing, but we know that we have some older schools that are in need of replacing. So how do we again operate within our budget? How do we create these safe schools? How do we get rid of the mold and mildew without having to continue to do patchwork? And that is what has been going on. I don't know if you've been watching some of the school board meetings on YouTube, but they were allotted $550,000 if my math is corrected. What I heard last Monday, and already they've spent in the neighborhood of about $475,000. I'm sorry, they spent roughly about $475,000 to repair some of the schools and try to remediate a lot of the damage. But if a rain comes along or we have some other issues, then we're back to square root one dealing with these issues. So um, again, we have to do uh, a great deal in not only making sure that our schools are accredited, but we need to make sure that we have safe schools as well. Safe schools are issue all across the country. We see unfortunate violence everywhere, and when you talk about safe schools, you also have to include mental health. In many urban schools, a lot of the students are dealing with unfortunate issues that impact their mental health. When you're dealing with trauma, some of them are having to deal with relatives that have been uh, shot and killed, or other relatives that have met tragic deaths. Just the some kids, and I've heard these stories that they're involved in programs, and when the program is over they don't want to go home. Why? Because there's something within the home that's causing them stress and trauma, and that's impacting their learning ability. So not only do we have to address things within the school system, we have to extend that to the community as well, because their overall well-being is important. It's important to their learning. It's important to their being able to concentrate. It's important to them feeling good about themselves and making them want to succeed in life. So that's the end game, is that we want every child within the school system to be successful. What does that look like? It's going to take different forms. Every child, and we have to understand that every child is not going to go to college. So therefore, we just don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. We have to have some viable alternatives so that we're preparing our students for real life and getting them prepared to make good decisions in life, how to sustain themselves. Some basic things, writing checks, balancing the budget, making, again, wise choices when it comes to their life and their future. So this is not just a one size fit all. We have to be very, very proactive in what we are doing as well. And uh, the third talking point, or the third thing on my platform, is making sure that our school system is fiscally sound and that we're being fiscally responsible as well. And I'd love to get into that a little bit more. Uh, just to throw out some numbers to you, we're looking at total revenue for 2022 and 2023 was somewhere in the neighborhood of $421 million. A lot of that, as you know, comes from the um, three sources, and that's federal, state, and also local. The largest portion of our money and funding comes locally. 45% of the funds that we receive for our school system is local. So your tax dollars are going to fund our schools. So if you say this is not my issue, or I don't have any kids in school, or anybody, relatives in school, yeah, you have 22,000 kids that are basically part of your responsibility, because your tax dollars are going to fund those schools. So we can't just, again, throw up our hands and say it's not my problem anymore because I don't have any kids in school. Yes, we all have to take responsibility for that, and making sure that the monies that are being spent they're allocated in the in areas that's going to benefit our students the most. And now here's something that most people don't know. I mentioned that fact that the school system for 2022 and 2023 had total revenue of $421 million. Well, the total expenditures for that same year came to $423 million. So that means that we operated our schools with a $2 million deficit. That's right, $2 million deficit. If this was and this, you have to think of it like a corporation. If a corporation was operating in the red, then of course the shareholders, which again would not be pleased with that, the board of directors would not be pleased with that, and so there would have to be some accountability for why is this particular organization operating in the red, and we have to do the same thing with the school system. If the school system came up almost $2 million short, or $2 million in the red, the answer is why. Why did they become? Why did they show up in terms of dollar wise over $2 million short? 2,300,000 short. Is it that the money wasn't allocated correctly? The budget wasn't calculated correctly? Exactly what happened. So, as part of the governance for the Richmond City school system, as part of the board's responsibility to oversee the school system's budget, making sure that it is, again, in alignment, and try to determine where the funding needs to go, and if we need additional funding for new schools, where do we get that from? How do we make up for that $2 million shortfall in the budget? Well, we just understand that the city council did pass a budget recently. So hopefully, with the new school board coming in 2025, um, those funds that have been allocated to the Richmond public school system will be looked at, and that it will be, again, allocated in a way that we're not operating in the red. um, which, to be quite honest, with the need for new schools, because many of our schools are old and they're inadequate. Uh, we need, I mean, millions of dollars just for to invest in new schools. So um, these are some of the challenges that whoever the school board is will face. And I'm hoping that my conversation with you tonight will give you more insight about why I'm running and my platform for running, and that in the upcoming weeks, you will reach out to my campaign and you will send in questions, or you can call. I will be at the office, our campaign office that's going to be located in the G Law Firm, starting tomorrow evening at 6 o'clock from 6 to 8. I'll be there, and you can call us, and I'll be glad to answer questions. The number, of course, is at the bottom, 804-767-0491. Uh, that number again is 804-767-0491. We're going to take another break here, and I'm going to come back and wrap this up. But if you have any questions, feel, I'm sorry, feel free to ask your questions. I'll be glad to see if I can answer them for you. If I don't have the answer for you, as always, I will research and give you the answer, find the answer before just giving you what sounds good. I will never do that. I'm making a commitment to you that I am going to be transparent and everything that is done on this board. So uh, if you have questions, the number is the bottom, 804-767-0491, or you can reach us through our email here. Of course, we will continue to run that. And if you would like to donate to us, please give us a call and we give you the donation information. If you'd like to make a contribution, we will give you that information as well. We are set up for cash apps. We do have a local bank account, so uh, we'll be glad if you would write us a check or cash app us. There is no such thing as small amount. Any amount that you give to this campaign is considered an investment. You're making an investment into the future of our students, of our teachers, and of our staff, and of our public educational system as a whole. So I'm going to take a break for a moment. I'll be right back. I want you to stay tuned. We're going to do another wrap up. And if you have any questions, put your questions in the comments and I'll be glad to answer them.
What happened was a machine came down, clamped both of my hands down, and had removed 6 digits. So I was in a bad situation. I didn't know what else to do, and I know I needed some type of help, so I called the G Law Firm. They gave me confidence throughout the whole case that everything was going to be fine. They're not only lawyers, but they are family. Call the G Law Firm. I did.
The first thing that you need to do is to make sure you get yourself to as safe place as you can. Find yourself a competent attorney who practices in personal injury and will understand some of the things that you're going through. And as I tell people, for 33 years I've been doing this. I've had my own accident. So I would like to be one of those individuals that they would interview so I could at least try to find out how I can best help them myself.
All right, everybody, welcome back. And I want to thank you once again for tuning in with us. Those that I noticed that liked some of the comments that we were making, we certainly appreciate that. And we're going to be having more of these sessions. I'll be coming to you each week, setting up some Q&As. I will be out in the community with some flyers and asking you all to sign my petition to get me on the ballot for November the 5th. Is the general election here in Richmond. Of course, we got the presidential election coming up. We have the mayor, city council, sheriff's race. All that will be this November. So I'm asking everybody to get engaged and to understand what is at stake here in a lot of these different races. Of course, the school board for some people is not the most exciting race, but you have to understand it and look at it in a different lens. Is that the school board is important because it is the governing body for the school system, and a lot of policies and procedures are made within the school board that impact our kids. Again, we have roughly about 22,000 students within the public school system here in Richmond. And so those 22,000 students will become adults one day. And so what we do today will have a direct impact on those students, on the next generation, on our community, on our city. And so we have to see them as an investment to ensure that our community continues to grow, it continues to prosper, and that we have productive citizens, and that we're giving them the best tools that they and resources that they need to succeed in life. So, just a quick wrap up of what I talked about this evening. If you have any questions, comments, feel free to put the comments, put your feedback or comments in the comment section. I'll go back and read them later on. You will also be able to email us. This is the email that you can send your questions to: Cruz Sherman for Richmond Schools at gmail.com. Again, please don't hesitate to email us. Or, again, we have a campaign number, which is 804-767-0491. I will be manning the phones tomorrow evening between 6 and 8. Feel free to call me. We can set up an appointment if you want to have some one-on-one questions. Again, we are planning a meet and greet where I will be at a specific location, and you can come out and ask your questions. It's on my calendar for this Tuesday at Hickory Hill between 11 and 2 to come up and meet many of the citizens of the 8th District, and to again listen to your concerns and answer questions that is to the best of my ability with the information that I currently have. And again, you'll be able to ask me about my agenda once again, which is number one on my list is ensuring 100% of schools in our city are accredited. So school accreditation is vitally important. It is top on my agenda, and that is again one of three things that I will be focused on from day one. Once I hit the ground running and I have been sworn in, we have to get to work on that right away. The next thing that I'll be looking at, and hopefully the entire board would be looking at, is how do we continue to make our schools safe for our students, teachers, and staff. Um, again, it is important. School safety is a concern all over the nation, and we want to make sure that we're doing what we need to do to be proactive here in our school system, not only with the gun violence, but just violence as a whole. We will make sure that our schools, um, again, mold situations, mildew situations, we need to address that and find permanent solutions for that. And then we need to make sure that we're looking at how do we find funding for our schools in terms of we have some old schools. So that's a safety concern as well. If our schools are not uh, adequately equipped or they are substandard in certain areas. And also, as I mentioned earlier, mental health wellness is vitally important because again, our kids are dealing with stuff that we didn't have to deal with. Most of us growing up in school. So, how do we help them to navigate some of the things that they're seeing on a day-to-day basis? And so, our help has to go outside of the schools into the community as well. So, it has to be a complete, comprehensive look at how do we take care the minds of our students as well as our teachers because many of our teachers are under tremendous stress. And so their mental well being is important as well. And finally, third on my agenda is making sure that our schools are fiscally sound and that we're being fiscally responsible for the funding that is coming into the school system. So, of course, there are many more things, but for me, those are priority things, and that's where I'm hanging my hat on in terms of the things I want to address if I am successful in my bid for the 8th District School Board seat. So, again, I hope that when I see you, you will sign my petition to get me officially on the ballot. And after that, that come November the 5th, you would vote for me because I am putting schools, I'm putting students and teachers over politics. Thank you for this time this evening. Once again, if you'd like to reach out to me, you can give me a call 804 767 0491, or you can email us. Here's the email at the bottom, or put your comments, feedback, and questions inside the comment section of wherever you're viewing this at. We are on IG, we're on YouTube. Please, if you have those relatives that might be elderly and they're not on Facebook, help them to get to our YouTube page, which is Cruz Inc. Radio 102.8 TV. We're going to be That's going to be posted. It's live now, and it'll be out there on our TV channel on YouTube right after we end this broadcast. It's currently on my personal page. It's on our Cruising Radio Facebook page and also on our Cruising Media page. Thank you so much. I hope you have a great Sunday evening. And just remember that I am putting students, teachers over politics. Have a great evening. This is Cruz, the Beast from the East, Cruising Radio 102.8, and your candidate for 8th District School Board.
The first thing that you need to do is to make sure you get yourself to as safe place as you can. Find yourself a competent attorney who practices in personal injury and will understand some of the things that you're going through. And as I tell people, for 33 years I've been doing this. I've had my own accident. So I would like to be one of those individuals that they would interview so I could at least try to find out how I can best help them myself.